Hi, everybody. Welcome to Squared Up. What was that you were doing there?
I was doing cheesy finger guns.
What are cheesy finger guns?
We can cut that out, though. Right?
No, we can't. We're rolling. We're already rolling. Once we get rolling, once he hits the button, we can't stop. I'm Bill Swinford.
And I'm Monica Daniels.
And we're here with Tom Mann. Hi, Tom.
Hey,
I'm here, too. I am.
We're with the Swinford Media Group, and we are delighted to be with you again as we do another podcast. We're going to start dropping these every Tuesday. I didn't even tell you that, but I've decided every Tuesday. Okay. So this is going to be airing on October the, doing the math, 22nd.
22nd.
Okay. So that means what just happened was the Marian Homecoming weekend. We'll tell you a little bit about what we know about that at this point. And there's also, you and I have now gone to a party that we're currently preparing to go to. Right. So we'll tease that a little bit and talk about some of the other things going on. But first of all, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Are you feeling fine today?
I am feeling mostly fine today.
Well, what's going on?
Are we going to talk about this?
Yes.
I feel like something climbed into my ear. It's bugging me. Like it's all
And you
stuck
think it's
up.
a bug?
Well, I don't know what it is. It just feels like something is in there blocking my ear.
So
I'll probably have to go to the doctor about it.
And you have no idea how this happened?
No. I kind of got that popping feeling in my ear, like I was, you know how when you're driving through the mountains, your ears will start to change pressure. And I just kind of tried to blow it out like I typically do, but instead it just stuck, popped, and stayed. And it's been bothering me ever since. I'll probably have to go to the doctor.
When did this first happen?
It happened yesterday.
Happened yesterday?
Yes.
Do you have any other symptoms?
No, there's symptoms.
But it's just irritating.
It's just annoying.
Yes,
yeah.
very
It
annoying.
just kind of hurts a little bit, and it's annoying, and I'm hoping it'll go away.
Yeah.
Just like my engine light on my car. Just it goes away.
So you're not going to have a technician look under your hood, right?
I might come to that, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Next podcast, I'll have a report about my ear and what we found.
Is this the first time this has happened to you?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It is the first time.
Never had anything else happen?
No. Like maybe a little bit of swimmer's ear after I got done swimming, but
Yeah, I usually have ear problems on planes and things, but other than that, one time I was on a mission trip and we were redoing somebody's ceiling, and so in the process of that, I had so much dust and things fall into one ear that it bothered me for about a year after that. It kind of got infected, and again, like you, I didn't do anything about it. And it eventually kind of worked itself out, but it lasted way too long.
I've had a serious bug go in mine that I knew about.
like a real bug.
A real bug, yeah.
What was it? What kind was it?
It was kind of like one of those little lightning bugs that got in there. And
Wow.
it was a good sized one. And it flew in.
Did it ever light inside your ear?
Could you, did your eyes flash?
No,
That would've
I
been
didn't
awesome.
know. I didn't check that out, but that's the kind of bug. I couldn't tell because when it came out, it was different. But I had to go
Can
to the
you
doctor and
imagine
get
you're
taken
talking
out.
to you and people are like, "You're glowing."
Your
Yeah.
eyes are
No,
flashing.
you're really
Yeah,
glowing.
your ear is flashing, on that side. But I've had that and, swimmer's ear, a lot of that. And I've had some ear infections, but that was an experience.
I bet.
As I mentioned before we started, I had a cousin, which had nothing to do with the ear, but the nose, stuck a mini football up his nose. And that was a big adventure. He had to go to the doctor, and they had to do some big stuff to get the mini football. It was a little metal football, stuck it up his nose. We couldn't figure out why. We always asked him why.
What, like from a game? Like a little...
Well, his
game or
dad, my uncle, was a big professor at Ole Miss, head of an department there, and so they always went to the ball games in Ole Miss down in Mississippi, and it was an Ole Miss little
like a
mini football,
little souvenir
thing. He may have been about 10. He stuffed
Up
it
his nose.
up his nose. But why would you stick it up your nose? We've never figured that one out.
And
Well, when I was in college,
Now I've had bugs in my nose,
I
quite a
was
few of those.
eating and laughed, and a noodle went up my nose. Just
Wow.
And then it got jammed up there, and I couldn't get it out. So that was pretty painful. I don't know. Things that get stuck.
From inside
in
your
your-
mouth?
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
eating. We were all joking around and laughing, and I started laughing, and then it just
I was picturing like you inhaling it off the plate. Into your mouth.
no, it went up this direction.
I think my
And
wife
then-
did something like that.
and then I
She
had-
blew something out of her nose that she took in her mouth. I can't remember what it was.
It was lodged, and so I had to stop the whole table and be like, "You guys, I just sucked a noodle up my nose. And I'm like, wait, what? And then me being who I am, when people ask me how I'm doing, I tend to tell them honestly, So all day long, I'm walking around on campus with a noodle lodged up my nose, painfully. People will be like, "Hey, Monica, how are you doing today?" And I'd say, "Well, actually, I have a noodle up my nose." They're like, "Wait, what? Really?" And then they try to look up, and then eventually, I had to.
Could you see it? Could you look up your nose and see it?
Not from that direction. So, but then eventually, I had to cough it out and went that direction. So gross.
I'm
really gross.
I'm remembering now. My mom, if she watches or listens, would remind me that I did have rocks in my head one time. When I was little, I stuck a bunch of like gravel from the driveway in my ear, and it got lots in there. They had to go in there with water and kind of flush it out. Another time, I wiped out on the driveway and cut my chin open. I got all this gravel up in my chin.
Oh, that sounds so painful.
And that was another thing. So yeah, it's when you get foreign objects places where they are not supposed to be, it's not pleasant.
Right. It sounds like a special edition podcast.
we could talk all morning about this.
Up your nose,
But
in
first,
your ear.
What do you put up your nose or your ear? Have you had anything go up your
Any
ear?
comments?
Get in the comments. Let us know
that's-
what have you stuck somewhere it's not supposed to be, and please keep it clean, people.
The urban legend where you heard that urban legend about the toddler that had a pea growing out of its nose because apparently it had wedged a pea up his nose and
Really?
and they didn't catch it until it was growing out.
Was this a true story of Jack and the Beanstalk?
It could be an urban legend.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
If beans can sprout from
yeah, I don't
area,
know.
if
You
neglected.
never know. All right, I feel like we might want to
If I was still 10, I would probably try it.
just experiment.
Just
well,
experiment.
hey, if you're 10, will you try this for us?
Let us know.
And let us know if that works. So I mentioned that we're going to a costume party this weekend.
Yeah.
So now that's already happened by the time that you're hearing this. And so should we reveal what our costume was?
Maybe we should let people guess.
Well, we
That'd be
kind
fun.
of did that last podcast.
Okay.
And so we're going to still we'll give you one more podcast to kind of guess what we dressed as. And then we'll show you a photo if Monica allows it. But
If you guess right, you get a prize.
oh, really?
Yeah.
We've never given prizes before.
we'll come up
You're
with
in
something.
charge of prizes. I don't know.
Give me your credit card.
I'm not,
with a prize.
I'm not buying prizes for this.
It's a noodle from Monica's nose signed or something. I don't know.
Tantalizing.
Whatever's in her ear, we
yours.
will frame it and send it to you. This weekend is this past weekend was. I'm now talking past tense, even though it hasn't happened for us right now. But we just went through homecoming for Marion High School homecoming, and although we don't have it at what we call press time, which is when we're recording this, I could tell you who the finalists for Marion High School homecoming queen are. The senior candidates are Reagan Henning, London McGuire, McClellan Meacham, McKenna Walters, Carissa Klein, Haven Pizzoni, and Brianna Reed. And they have the neatest tradition at Marion High School in that they invite the senior candidates along with some of the candidates for Homecoming King, which are some of the senior males that are voted in. They are allowed to pair up and do music videos and create music videos. And my daughter Sophia was actually in one of these with one of her friends. They did a parody of a song from La La Land that I thought was really well done. And they've put out these music videos, and there was another one that was done in the style of Thriller, and they actually even went out to the cemetery. They didn't march around on the graves, which I'm glad to see, but they use that as kind of a spooky backdrop. There was a few other songs. Some of them I knew. Hot to Go is a very popular song right now. Somebody else did that. And anyway, these videos are out. I think you can find them probably through a high school student council page on social media. If we think to, we'll share some of that out for you through our pages. They're very cute, very clever. And then the students then pick a winner from those. And even the teachers get involved. The teachers have a competition doing their own music videos. So they're a lot of fun, to watch. So I will say congratulations to whoever was crowned
Yes.
the royalty of homecoming, and the parade on Saturday through downtown. God bless you.
Thank you.
Did that do it? Did it come out? Did it dislodge?
No, it's still there and it still hurts.
I'm sorry. But lots to share. So all the homecoming coverage that you would want will be in this week's Marion Star, the edition that will come out on October the 24th. You'll see all the coverage, photos from the parade, photos of the royalty, photos from the football game, and big weekend. Cold, but it's gotten cold on us.
Yeah.
And it's
that
feeling like fall.
It sure is.
We do have a variety of Halloween events coming up. Different communities, including Marion, are sponsoring downtown events. The police in Marion have an event. All of that's ahead. All those details can be found in our publications, but the Marion Star, the Heron Independent, the Carterville Courier for each time, including the trick-or-treat times for each town. So a couple things that I wanted to get into today that bother me a little bit. One of them I'll go ahead and get out of the way is we have our official ballots that were published last week in our publications, and I notice on them that there are so few local contested races. We have different offices: circuit clerk, state's attorney, coroner, county commissioner. All of these offices are uncontested, meaning that there's either incumbents running against nobody, or in the case of the circuit clerk, we can give a shout out to Kristen Bayer for jumping in as a Republican candidate, but there are no Democratic candidates for that office. And even Paul Jacobs, our state representative, is running uncontested. Not that I have anything against any of these candidates, and I wish them well, and I'm glad that they are participating. But it feels like all of a sudden we are having a shortage of folks willing to step into the fray and participate in public office.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering why. I'm going to see if you two have any opinions on this.
I don't know. I think the main thing, it's probably because you are subject to a lot of criticism, undue criticism, and I think because it's gotten a little bit toxic. My daughter doesn't live here, but lives outside of Louisville. Is running for school board, and that was one of the concerns. But she kind of went through it, and at first she was unopposed, and then she now has someone running against her. But that's one of the things you think about because I don't know. We live in kind of a toxic world where social media can pull something way from back in your past, like maybe when I got the bug in my ear, or I got mad at my cousin and said a bad word, and they're going to bring that out. You know what I mean? So I think that's my thoughts on why many people aren't running now, and there are many good people that should.
Yeah, anybody and everybody has a platform. Which there are times when that's a good thing, right? When there are times when those that have not had a voice can find a voice that way. Unfortunately, it tends to work more in the negative, in that everybody who has an opinion, whether it's an educated opinion, whether it's valid, or whether they have their own agenda, and again they're trying to oppose something or come against somebody, can go on and go on the attack on somebody, probably in a way that they wouldn't do it in person, and certainly wouldn't have had the courage to do in the the former political environment before social media. And so that I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. And that's what I was thinking too, is that it's kind of a scary thing just to put yourself out there in any way.
Right. Absolutely.
People get kind of a little crazed
Because the job takes a lot of energy on its own, let alone having to deal with ignorant rumor mills and
right.
Yeah.
criticism that doesn't even have anything. People are just making assumptions.
And that happens on both sides. So there's
Yeah.
no one side. It's not even. It happens both directions. And
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
it's and the sad thing is, I think that I miss in this process. I like debate,
Yeah.
and I love to hear both ideas. And even though I may lean one way, we all lean somewhere.
Right.
But it's nice to hear, when I hear people I might even disagree with, but they are very good candidates for a job. You know, I think we look for perfect people. And as somebody said, we're not electing a preacher or a priest or something like that. We're electing somebody to be a leader in a political situation and to help us. And that's where sometimes somebody who's had maybe they've had some tough things going on, but it's good experience for the job they're going to try to do.
And again, our leaders are picked apart like
Exactly.
they never were
Oh,
before.
gosh, yeah.
We know we've heard stories now about past presidents that the people who lived in those times never knew. Those things now come out because everybody has dug into everything and pulled all of that out now. But of course, in those times, it was easier to admire our leaders because we knew so little about them, and all we had to go on was more their political record. And you could argue that that's all we should go on is the decisions that they've made and the way that they have perform their positions. And so it's an ongoing debate. We do encourage you to get out and vote. I mean, I asked you last podcast if you were going to vote, and you told me that was a personal question. But I think it's a thing that we need to kind of be encouraging each other to do, because I fully understand why some people are discouraged from even trying, from even voting. They tend to think their vote's not going to count, either in the national election, maybe because of the state that we live in, that their vote won't make a difference. Those kinds of issues there's something to that. At the same time, we do need to, at the very least, even on a ballot that's mostly uncontested, we need to get out and perform our civic duty, encourage those who have put their necks on the line, and show our support for them. Don't you agree?
I agree.
Okay.
Totally.
All right. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, and we won't stay on this for very long, but a friend of ours that Tom and I used to work with, Mark Kiesling, was just let go from his anchor job at WSIL TV. Boy, what an uproar that caused. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and it was kind of unceremonial. It seemed for somebody who had been off and on, but mostly on with Channel 3 since the 80s. I mean, I was in high school, I believe, when Mark first started as a sports anchor there, and they were still located in Harrisburg, in a very small studio in Harrisburg. And he stayed with them through many years, took a little break, and worked with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes for a time. But when I came there in the early 2000s and worked, Mark was back there. That's when I met Tom. Both of us have the greatest respect for him, both as a news person with great news sense, but also as a human being. And to see under what is new ownership, to see him apparently be treated kind of dismissingly when so many folks would like to have at least given him a proper goodbye is kind of sad.
Yeah, we've had so much of that, and you and I, Bill, we worked when it was locally owned. Steve Wheeler, Bonnie Wheeler, great people, and Steve was my boss because I worked in management there as a production creative services director for a while, manager of that crew, and that was really good times.
Yeah.
And what I really appreciated was how much they cared about the community, and they were very fair. That was the other thing when it came to news coverage and the people we all worked there. And it was hard to keep people here because we were the step-up market where somebody would come and stay a while, then they go to big
Right.
markets. But actually it's a positive because most of the people that left Channel 3 have gone to very big jobs. So it was a positive thing. And Mark was just Mark got me in both times. I had 2 tours of duty there, I call it. And both times he was the one who encouraged me to come there. And I think he behind the scenes was, hey, get Tom to go there. But Mark just an incredible guy, and he integrity's the word, both personally and professionally. And he always was pushing for really good things in the newsroom.
He would be involved in the remodel of the newsroom, the remodel of the set. I mean, there were so many things beyond just sitting behind an anchor desk that Mark did there.
And I worked with him in promotions for the longest time, and he did a lot with that. We had people like Jim Razor and people that we're so good friends with through the years. All these individuals that are really great. And the people that work there really, I really feel for many of them that are there now.
It's a different environment world, because it's a corporate environment now.
And originally what it was, the Wheelers owned it. It was sold to Quincy Media, which I worked under for quite a while. And they were very good, but the culture changed, and things were changing in the marketplace with news media, because we were talking earlier that you get your news now from many different sources. What's happened, I think, I call it the big corporate media world, because now big companies are buying up all these stations around the country. I call it the local touch is kind of disappearing because it's being driven by the corporations and not necessarily people at the station. It's the big companies that own them.
Well, it's an media is an ever-changing environment, and it's just when you think you've figured out how to be profitable, it gets complicated, and there's a new media, there's a new direction, there's a new trend, and you either have to figure out how to go that way and keep up with that, or you're going to get left behind. And so, I mean, even local media and the Wheelers face that as well, of course. And you've got folks in New York and folks in Chicago, and there's LA in this case, I think, other places that are just like making these decisions without even knowing the local atmosphere, what's important to the local people, and really what's going to make you successful in that area, because they just forget about the importance, especially Southern Illinois. Southern Illinois is really quite a community, and you saw that yesterday when it was announced that Mark had been dismissed. Is that we really rally. Sometimes we fight and fight and fight, but there are certain causes we rally around, and somebody like Mark, who is so highly respected, so loved, has lived such an exemplary life, in my opinion, has, when he's kind of hung out to dry, then folks are really going to rally. And I know that there are plenty of people that are, sending their strong feelings to the corporation that owns WSIL. But Mark, as usual, took the high road.
He was totally professional about it. Mark's like, okay. And I think the thing we all need to realize is that it is a little bit of a changing world. And the other thing is these big companies, and I'll just say it very vocally, if they're on a different end of the world than we are in Southern Illinois, you'll see the difference on the air. And it's not necessarily the local people doing this. It's being pulled in. And I can say that because being a manager, I remember having a conversation with the corporate bosses one day because they were asking, what's Heron Fest? What's the Apple Festival? What's this festival? Why do we do that? Why do we need to cover certain things in sports? And it's, it was a really big, for me, it was educating. Like, you don't understand. This is bigger than, if you were in Chicago, okay, the Bears or, the Cubs.
There you go.
That's like, Marion High School, football is that big. So is Heron. So are these other communities. And it's important that we cover them. But that's, again, what you're dealing with. So, but again, I hate it for Mark. We're going to miss him doing that. Hopefully we'll see him around doing things.
I've put an invitation out to Mark to join us on here sometime.
We need to get him on.
We'd love to have a conversation with him, because I'm sure he would love the opportunity to just share some of his memories, and we'd love to do that with him.
We've had the conversation. He started with hair, and then he ended without hair. We've had that conversation. So he
had a lot of hair.
Both.
Back in the day, he had a lot of hair.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is
Some of the old pictures. But we'll see Mark around. I mean, Mark is also a go-to guy. I mean, I introduced you to Mark.
Yeah, he's so nice.
At I think the Heron Fest banquet last year, and he was emceeing that. He's great at those kind of things. So we'll still get to see Mark around at some places.
I've been always envious of Mark because he's the guy that can always, well, he keeps his figure really well.
Ah,
He can eat anything, and it's like a tapeworm or something. I wonder if that's his magic. I wish I had that, you know?
yeah, me too. Absolutely, me too. Hey, so a couple of things I want to shout out. This is kind of a cool thing. The Marion Unit 2 Foundation just made a donation to what's called the Wildcat Way Fund in the Marion School District. Marion Unit 2 Foundation is separate from the school district in that and Heron has the same thing. Heron Unit 4 has a foundation, a separate entity that is volunteer driven in order to raise funds for the school district for things outside of that school district's budget. In other words, things to help both the teachers in the classroom and also the students. And the Wildcat Way Fund is Becky Moss, the superintendent of schools in Marion, was explaining to me that the Wildcat Way Fund is set up so that if you have a student who, for instance, she was telling the story about a child who came to school whose family had kind of lost everything, and this was a male student who was, kind of wearing one of his mom's T-shirts to school. It was kind of obvious, right, that they didn't have a whole lot going on. They didn't have a whole lot of resources at the time. Another one whose shoes were so worn through that their feet were getting dirty because the shoes just had so little of a sole on it. Again, it's just a fund that's set up so that whoever notices that at the schools can just go out immediately and buy some things for the students. It's not even a question. They will go out and do that, and they'll do that. Teachers will do that. Others in the school district will do that. And so they gave the foundation has donated $5,000. It's a good place to, if you're looking for a place to send a contribution, the Wildcat Way Fund you can donate through the unit office into that, and it's a terrific way to do it. And the Unit 2 Foundation continues to do things like that all year long too, and they also give scholarships and things. So shout out to both the school district for having that fund and also to the Unit 2 Foundation for their contributions to it and so many other things. What else you got?
What else do I have? So we have an event coming up next month at Dillard's. Sensational. Alex Sanchez, national celebrity makeup artist, is going to be in town again from 11 to 4. So we've been really busy prepping for that. It's going to be a huge celebration.
That's great.
So
will you be there?
I may not be there.
Oh, why is that?
I just accepted a new job position with Heron Chamber of Commerce. I'm now the new executive director of the Heron Chamber of Commerce.
Wow.
So that is going to be my new role.
That's exciting.
Moving out of Dillard's. Yep.
It's exciting. And I know as we've kind of talked through this, I know your heart will still very much be with your coworkers there and the folks that you've worked with there.
Yeah.
And so I know it's a kind of a difficult transition, but exciting, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm going to miss all of my customers for sure, but I'll still be in the area so I can still keep in touch with everyone.
Congratulations. And we're already talking about ways that you can use the platform and potentially some others that we'll create to start to boost up Heron and the chamber and things as well. And we're excited to see what you'll do there.
Yeah, there's some neat things going on there already that I look forward to getting the word out on. And we, have a vision. We have a few ideas, several ideas that we want to launch too. So it'll be a fun new creative move. I look forward to it.
As we've said, Squared Up, before. Squared Up, by the way, Square looks great, doesn't it?
It does.
We need to get a new
gorgeous.
picture, actually, because this is all of a sudden
really it's
outdated.
outdated. It is.
Aaron Price, for us, went out and both Ross and Aaron, my son Ross and Aaron Price, have done drone work on the square. And the images they have of this flying over the square now are just amazing. Yeah. And so check that out on our social media, WFCN, Marion Star.
Great video.
Yeah,
great video.
Really, very good video. Check out that work. And then, but as we've said, Squared Up is not just about Marion. Our offices are based on Marion, but we really are trying to lift up all of our local communities, right?
Absolutely.
And so Monica herself is going over to Heron
Right.
to do what you can there, and we're very proud of you. Very proud of you taking that step. Our friends at Crown Brew, right? This morning, Noah. If you know Noah, Noah's a redheaded guy, just the most pleasant kid, right? I call him a kid. He's in his 20s, but works behind the counter. This morning, I often place my order online. I order you. What do you normally drink?
A mocha.
A mocha.
With oat milk.
Either hot or cold mocha.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
As long as it has chocolate in it.
As long as it has chocolate in it.
Yeah.
And I just get kind of a boring coffee with a little stevia in it. But I usually place our online order and then give them 10 minutes and go down and get it. Well, they were really up against it this morning.
Yeah.
So I stopped in there and they didn't have it quite ready yet. So I went over to the parking lot and parked and said, I'll take care of something else and I'll check back in 5 minutes. And here comes Noah out into the park. And Noah, it was one of two people working and the line was out the door and Noah still carried those things out to me out in the parking lot and apologized for taking so long. That was very kind. Very kind and unnecessary, but very kind. And so we appreciate all of the folks that do their jobs that way. I know that's the way you've done your job at Dillard's. You're over and above with customer service, looking out for your customers. They adore you. Yeah. They are going to miss you so much.
Miss them. Yeah.
Thankfully, some of those people are people you will see in your new position because they are attached to the Heron Chamber. And you will make so many more folks, you will bless so many more folks in your new position. And so you're just kind of, you're anybody like you or Noah or anybody that goes over and above, Mark Kiesling, that goes over and above on their job and is kind and looks after more than just themselves, are people that are just a blessing to us. And we just wish the very best for them. We wish the very best for Mark. And we wish you the very best with this new position. We know you'll be great at it. But she's not going anywhere. She's going to stay right here on our Squared Up podcast. You just might see her on another one. We're talking about that already. Okay, was there anything else? Did we have a question we were going to ask folks? Oh, we already asked. What have you stuck in your head? What do you have in your ear? What have you put up your nose? Those are things that you could let us know. Other questions? What do you think we're dressing up as for Halloween?
For Halloween, yeah.
And we also had another question you could still answer. Like we talked about educators on our most recent other podcast. Who are some of your favorite teachers? These are all things we're interested in hearing. You can go on the comments. You can go through our website and contact us that way. Contact us through any of our Facebook pages. We just want to hear from you and share these experiences with you. We love hearing from people who find us and are following us.
It's so fun.
And never hesitate to reach out and whether in person or in other ways and let us know that you're watching or listening here on Squared Up. Watch for another one to drop next Tuesday. We're going to get real good at this, being really consistent, and you'll know to find us. We found out. Oh, that's another thing we didn't talk about.
We did talk about.
Okay. Just real quickly, Tom and I participated in a forum of podcasters for a little workshop for people that were interested in podcasting. And one of the things that they talked about is how important it is to be consistent with. Did you have a good time? I enjoyed that.
Oh, I had a good time. In fact, we sat next to each other, but I didn't eat with you. But we sat next to each other. No, it was good because they had so many other people that do podcasts in the area. I thought it was great. It was a host about Ethos.
Yes, put on by Russ Williams and Ethos.
Oh, it's great.
And
it's free.
Yeah, and there's some people that are doing some great stuff, great podcasts, and we're just one of the many great podcasts around.
Yes.
You were there.
Yeah,
I was there.
That's why I didn't eat with Tom because I was overeating with you.
I saw that. I was just kind of like, okay.
He's a little hurt by
Three's a crowd. I don't think it's okay.
But
it's all right.
You should know that's the way that will always go, Tom.
That's right. It's okay. I'm glad it will.
We love Tom.
We do.
We're so grateful for Tom.
The mascot. That's what I called myself.
Yes. All right. So we're going to go. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Follow all our Swinford Media Group stuff, including our print editions coming out this Thursday, and be a new round of them. And we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.